What's up with the goats and Severance? And in case you're wondering, I'm still cooking. I want you to remember, goat people wear green, MDR people wear blue. Dinner's about to be served, y'all. Keep that filed in the back of your head. To understand the goats, we have to understand what is the whole point of Milchick's job. In Season 1, Episode 2, Mark admits that the photo of Petey makes him sad. The longer he talks about Petey, he begins to become emotional, and Milchick cuts him off and says, that's enough. He doesn't like the fact that Mark is remembering Petey. And see, they think that the wellness sessions with Miss Casey is to promote a connection to your outie. But in reality, these sessions are tests that are being closely monitored to ensure you're not remembering your outie. This is why they're not allowed to ask questions to Miss Casey, and if they do, Miss Casey silences them. Because the point is to see you don't have any emotional interest or connection to your outie. That's why Milchick says to Cobell, it's a good thing that they don't remember. Now this brings me to the goats. I'm just warming up the oven. Goats are in line with the show's religious undertones. Goats are sacrificial animals, but not you. We love you. The term scapegoat comes from religious tradition. You placed your sins on a goat and then you cast them out, providing you a clean slate, symbolizing a fresh start. Interesting. What is it that we just heard Bert say at dinner on why he became severed? So that a part of him could be purged of his sins, have a fresh start. Notice the first words out of Gwendolyn Goat Lady's mouth when Mark and Helly arrived at the goat room. Are you here to kill me? The reason they're there is they're trying to find Miss Casey, the wellness lady. Gwendolyn takes a long look at the photo and says, wellness. We don't abide by such fripperies here. She starts ringing a bell that does not just make the goats gather, it makes the humans gather too. All of the employees in this room have blank expressions. They are void of emotion, acting like goats themselves, going as far as dressing like them. In the background, we see an out-of-focus familiar man stepping out of an office. Look at him closely. He's got a beard, he's wearing a suit with a brown apron over it. It's the same guy in Season 1 who became emotionally distraught when he thought they were going to take the goats from him. These people are animal lovers. They are emotionally attached to these animals, similar to how Mark is still emotionally attached to Gemma. He says they're not ready. It isn't time. It isn't time for what? Get a closer look of him here. See, it's the same guy. Ellie starts frantically asking the goat people, have you seen this woman? And this upsets Gwendolyn at first. She demands her to stop. It's as if her job is to make sure that these people remain emotionally detached. We don't want the goat people reminded or thinking about other people, because then we lose our brainwashing progress in removing these people's humanity. She is the Milchick of the goat room. That's why Lumen doesn't want other departments speaking to this department. That's why the goat people ask them, do you have pouches? In Season 1, Episode 5, Irving sees that disturbing painting in the copier, something that Milchick tells him you are not supposed to see, where the people in blue and green are attacking each other. Later, Bert explains to Dylan and Irving a wild rumor that the other departments are told about MDR, that you all have a larval offspring that lives in pouches that will jump out and eat you. And Dylan says, that's insane, and Bert says, I know. It's a joke. And he goes, although I would be remiss to say that eventually this larva jumps out and eats and replaces you. Meaning your innie will replace your outie. The goal is to forget. I'm cooking. Why, you ask? Because how can a cult create the most devout follower? Make you forget everything you know about the outside world. And you're constantly being tested to see that you have. This is why Helena purposely misnames Gemma for Hannah. They're testing to see if what they're doing to your innie has an impact on your outie. That is why Mark is so important. He is 80% finished with Cold Harbor. Lumen is so close. They've never been this close before because they failed with Irving. Bert is Irving's Helena. No matter how hard he's tried to make Irving forget, Irving just keeps remembering. His mind is too strong. His outie and innie are too in sync. That's why he's the only one who could pick up that Helly was Helena. That's why his outie cannot stop painting the elevator. He doesn't want to forget. If you think for a second I'm done, I'm not done. This is why Mark is the key, because Mark wants to forget. He is finally emotionally available to get with Helly because he is forgetting Gemma. If he can finally complete the Cold Harbor file, he won't remember her. Because if they can make you forget your wife, they can make you forget anything. Mark doesn't realize that he is working on the next Severance chip, the new chip that will be placed in people's brains that will create the perfect employee. Permanent severance. You will not remember anything about your outie because you will be the perfect innie. And Cole Bell knows this. Cole Bell was devastated by this. Cole Bell was trying to help Mark remember Gemma. That's why she took Gemma's candle and placed it in front of them. That's why she isn't happy when Milchick says, it's a good thing they don't remember. Because Lumen wants to make humans into livestock. No longer a human. You're just a number. Petey said, you used to come into work with your eyes red. You carry the hurt with you in there. You just don't know it. When Mark is training Helly on how to do her job, she says, how do I know which numbers to put away? Mark says, the scary ones. He's filing the pain away. Because that's what your job does. That's what this whole show is a metaphor of. Little by little, you lose yourself to it. And you don't even realize you're doing it because you are forgetting who you are. You are forgetting what and who you love. Your job wants to take and take and take until there's nothing left. Pure loyalty. Pure obedience. They want you to be so disciplined to the point that you feel like you could go to a dinner and not even have to eat, or go to a live reading of an author's objectively terribly written novel and marvel over how great it is. Interesting. It's like how any Mark really takes to the book, but his outie Mark knows it stinks. Devin says to Mark, Rebecca smells weird. He goes, she smells weird, and she says, yeah, and she's doing this weird chewing thing. Devin's the only one who notices the smell because Devin isn't severed. Right before Mark passes out in his kitchen, he says something smells weird. The reintegration is working. Mark is waking up. Rebecca says to Mark, I have some sores on the back of my head. From horns, perhaps? In the very first episode, Helly asks Mark, am I livestock? Notice all the goats placed in Rickon's home. These people are not his friends. They're his followers. Brainwashed so bad to the point that they would follow a guy like Rickon and think he's a cult leader. Devin was having trouble getting her baby to nurse because it just wanted to chew. What do we call baby goats? We call them kids. Lumen is farming future employees. That's why they're getting younger and younger. Now, with that out of the way, I double dog dare someone to ask me about the teeth.